Hello, my name is Monique Musiel, and I am the author of An Understanding Beyond. I have always been curious about black holes, and so recently I've done some research. It turns out that scientists speculate that black holes are gateways to somewhere else, possibly into another dimension, time, space, or place in the universe. Scientists state that within the black holes there is infinity, with space-time warped or inverted, because as a black hole is approached, time becomes gradually ever slower until it comes entirely to a halt. So there's no time there inside those black holes. And as a black hole would be approached, time would become gradually slower, such that you would never make it there in several lifetimes. No laws of our known physics apply there. Plus, inside of them, they are so condensed that it would be like packing a mountain into the size of a marble. Now, if that doesn't already blow your mind, here's what else I got from researching scientific findings. Anything that enters a black hole never comes back out. This is actually one of the facts that is well known. But if an astronaut, let's say, were to approach one of the larger ones too closely, she would first be cloned into two, with one continuing to go in while the other would incinerate. To an onlooker, she would be horrified to witness this, not being aware that the other body would actually simply experience an unharmed trip down a tunnel. This would be the case only with the larger black holes, because their gravitational pull is slight. Centrifugal force or gravitational, both, I guess. While the smaller black holes would first spaghettify you, stretching you out while compressing you thinner until you are destroyed. Perhaps the spiritual soul or person exits the physical body and gets a new one, so that it will be able to reside in this other realm. Could these black holes then be a passageway to the spiritual side, where the Trinity of God and angels dwell, along with those that have already been raised up to Him? What other explanation could there be? After all, if a spaceship were to circle around the black hole, the back of a black hole, there's nothing there except empty space. So what enters there goes to a whole nother dimension we can't see. The opening of a black hole pulls in anything that goes near it, gradually sucking in our universe. Is this God transferring our reality continually, transforming it into a spiritual world for His followers? Because this is an ongoing thing. Wormholes are another phenomenon of tunnels and gateways. Outer space is not just empty space, but rather consists of a network that is referred to as the string theory. Only 5% of outer space is occupied by physical matter, such as planets, stars, and moons. 95% of it is space with black matter that we perceive as nothingness. It is actually swarming with energies and molecules we can't see. With the string theory, this pattern of fibers can be warped or even folded over each other, which would allow travel through a wormhole like a shortcut, possibly making a trip of hundreds of light years like a trip to the mall. So a wormhole and this pattern is not the only thing that bends, but my mind and your mind probably is bending as well, because this is beyond us. Now the problem with them is that the whirlholes are very unstable and temporary, such that a spaceship would not be able to travel through, as depicted in the movies. I believe they are there for holy supernatural travel, for God or spirits of God to have access to anywhere in the universe, which would include being able to come to us here on Earth. There's actually a good reason for me to assume this, as I've experienced supernatural occurrences in my life, one of which would support the tunnel theory, the tunnel through from the spiritual world to reality, to our reality. Here is a description of what I saw and experienced in a hospital in November of 1985. After a walk in the hospital hallway, in which I had made some notes of what I had to do whenever I would get back home, when I returned to my room, I first said an extensive sense of prayer, after which I felt a strange energy or presence there. So I told God that I would try not to be afraid, even though I was. Out of the colorful twinkling of tiny electronic-like fibers in the air of the room formed a tubular net of sorts, projecting towards me. From it emerged a large transparent closed hand that hovered above me. In awe, I realized after a while that it wasn't coming any closer. I wondered what it was waiting for me to do. Although it occurred to me that I might be dying, I took a chance and reached my hands up towards it. I was trusting God. As the hand opened, from it descended a warm, red, transparent flame that rested upon the open palms of my hands. Cupping my hands around it, I felt and watched the flames as they licked out between my fingers, while a white aura was upon my arms. Abundant love and warmth overcame me while this presence was with me, and it lingered with me for about an estimated 20 to 30 minutes until it was suddenly gone, with a flash of lightning outside my window in otherwise clear and dry weather. Only a few seconds later, a nurse came barging into the room, turning on all the lights. So God, realizing that she was coming into the room, departed, was gone. Jotting down my account of what I had just experienced, it was now 4:17 a.m. on November 22nd of 1985. God had reached out to me and sent me the Holy Spirit in the form of a flame. I know this used to happen in the days of the biblical writings, but apparently it's still possible now. He had pierced through my reality from his spiritual world, through a tunnel of some sort of fibers of energy that had expanded, stretching from where he came from. I had experienced a miracle, seeing with my own eyes God's hand, the Holy Spirit, plus a supernatural passageway and what that looked like. Completely healed from my sickness, I was sent home the very next day. I feel very blessed and fortunate that I've had actual proof of God's existence. Although I already had totally believed in him before that occurrence, I'm thinking that it may take some faith in the first place before we can actually recognize even the most subtle signs. I'm hoping that elaborating on the vast wonders of God's creation will bring more alertness to realize someone is got to be in control of this amazing and complex universe that didn't happen by accident and doesn't run by itself. Thank you for listening today, and If you wanted to check out what I wrote, I have an electronic version of my book on Amazon called An Understanding Beyond by Monique Musiel. I also have other podcasts. You can look at Understanding God by Monique Musiel, my series. And thank you for watching, and God bless.